TsubakiSwagg, and I'm coming to you with my review of Tokyo Ghoul episode 7, Premonition. And this episode, finally, we get to see some good stuff. Of course, this episode, the first thing we see in this episode is Kaneki spasming and just going absolutely crazy. And we see like him getting attacked by Reese and Yomori, and I know there's symbolism behind that, but I don't know. I felt some type of way about this episode because I was so looking forward, because in the manga, chapter 114 to be exact, because I did look for it. Um, Takatsuki, she is supposed to have her interview with Amon and Akira, but in this version, she has her interview with Shinohara and Suzuya. And I love Shinohara and I love Suzuya. Suzuya is like one of my favorite characters. But I was so looking forward to seeing that interview with Amon and Akira, because Amon is a little more suspicious. Amon is a little more suspicious of Takatsuki than Shinohara was. Shinohara could pretty much just like brushed her off, and Suzuya didn't even say anything to her. So I mean, that made me kind of sad because I was really looking forward to seeing how Amon was going to respond to Takatsuki. But it's okay, though. Other than that, it was pretty much true to how things happen, and the order has changed. There's a lot of stuff that they've taken out, which made me kind of sad because there's a lot of parts that I actually wanted to see that they haven't really shown, or maybe they're just switching around the order. I don't know. Hopefully they're just switching around the order because they skipped a lot of stuff that I was really looking forward to seeing. But other than that, this episode we see Kaneki. He is pretty much battling with himself, or he said at one point that he wasn't eating ghouls, the ghouls were consuming him. So I guess that was the symbolism behind like Reese and Yomori like coming up on him, and he was naked, and it was kind of weird. But somebody pointed out to me that the beginning, it will still forever remain garbage, but the beginning, it changes every episode. The background changes, but still the non-existent arms come up and put the mask on his face and then take it off, and it's just fuckery. But I never noticed that the background changed. I guess because after the first time I watched it, I just didn't watch it anymore. But I did go back and look at a few of them, and the background does change slightly. So, I mean, for those of you who actually do like the opening, you can go look at that. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, this whole episode is pretty much just like, we also see Tsukiyama. Tsukiyama is a very interesting character. He never ceases to amaze me at how creepy he can be. Because I mean, even in the first part, when like in Tokyo Ghoul, the original Tokyo Ghoul, when him and Kaneki went to that coffee shop that he took Hanami to, and he had like his nosebleed or whatever, he started bleeding, and Tsukiyama gave him his handkerchief and took it in the bathroom and like jizzed on himself from sniffing it. He does it again. Tsukiyama strikes again. And I remember this. I think I remember this part. I think they do show it. They do show it in the manga, but it happens a little bit differently in the manga because like at that point, Kaneki, like in the manga that we have read, Kaneki never went to Agore, so he was already there. Tsukiyama just decided to take Hanami out, like on a little date, because she was like downtrodden. So he takes her to the coffee shop, and while he's in the bathroom orgasming all over himself over Kaneki's scent, Takatsuki, she comes up, which was actually true to the chapter. She comes up and is talking to Hanami and pretty much telling her that there's nothing that she thinks she can do, Hanami can do for Kaneki, that pretty much the way she is right now is not going to help him. Which, I want to say some other things, but I'm not going to spoil anything if anybody else hasn't read Tokyo Ghoul Re, but which I think is what explains why Hanami has done what she did in Tokyo Ghoul Re. So after that, Takatsuki, she was like, I have an interview, so I need to leave, blah blah blah. So then we see like Kaneki, he comes back to Antiku and everybody flips out, And while all this is happening is when Takatsuki has her interview with Shinohara and Suzuya, and pretty much she pretty much says the same things that she said to Amon and Akira, but it's a lot shorter. It's a lot shorter, the interview with her and um, Shinohara, because Shinohara pretty much really doesn't answer much of her questions. Like, she asks if it's possible to turn humans into ghouls, and he was like, I don't feel like there is a need to put any more dangerous ghouls in the world whatsoever. And then that was pretty much the end of the interview. And then, like, her last question, she was asking Suzuya what his name was, and he just looked at her and looked away, and she got up and left. So they didn't even put the whole thing in there of Amon trying to get her to go through the RC detector and all that good stuff, which I think that really made that chapter, because they show, like, they pretty much keep hinting at the fact that Takatsuki is what we might think she is. So yeah, just this whole episode made me angry, but it was still good too. Like, if you didn't read the chapter, then it really wouldn't matter to you. But because I did read the chapter and I remembered literally as soon as that part came on, I was like, wait a minute, this is not right. But it might be right in the original, like, copy of Tokyo Ghoul, from what I've been told and what I've seen and read a little of. So, I mean, that's neither here nor there. So after that, we see, like I said, Kaneki comes back to Antiku and he talks to Yashimori, and Hanami finds out that he's there, and instead of going to see Kaneki, she goes to tell Toka, and Toka literally, like, sprints to the shop, but right as she gets to the shop, he had already left. So she went after him, and she found him walking over, like, a overpass bridge. I don't know what they're called. A walkway over the highway. And she was like, why can't you come? She was pretty much like, why can't you come back to Antiku? And he told her that he talked to the manager. The manager told him to come back, and he said he didn't know. And Toka she was like, well, if you think you're such a big shot, you just shouldn't come back to Antiku, while she was trying to fight him, and Kaneki was just dodging her like it was nothing. And when she said that, he got caught off guard. She punched him in the face, and then she just started punching away at him and telling, like, she was just angry. She was angry because he left her, pretty much, because you know that Toka is in love with Kaneki. I don't even know when these feelings, like, blossomed, because at one point Toka looked like she literally hated Kaneki. So you can tell that she loves Kaneki, and the fact that he left her makes her feel some type of way. So he was like, he smiled, and he was pretty much his thought was, it is pretty much like, you're right, because she said, we don't need your protection, blah blah blah. But he said he still wants to get stronger so he can protect them. So yeah, that was pretty much the whole episode. This episode, it was interesting. It was actually really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how things turn out, because just from this episode I can see that things aren't going to follow the chapters, like, to a T, which is okay. I mean, I'm used to that for the most part with most shows when I read the manga, but I really was hoping that they were going to at least do the part with Amon interviewing Takatsuki, but oh well, there's nothing you can do about it. So yeah, this episode was pretty awesome. So as always, I would love to hear how you guys felt about this episode. How do you feel about the way things turned out? For those of you who do read the manga, do you have the same feelings that I do about it? But as always, please remember to comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. It helps me out a whole lot. And this is TsubakiSwagg saying adios.